Joe Rogan has recently addressed Diddy's arrest and his connection to Jeffrey Epstein in a new episode of The Joe Rogan Experience. Speaking with comedian Andrew Schulz, Rogan delved into the allegations against Diddy and suggested that his arrest might only be the beginning of a much larger unraveling. According to Rogan, similar to Epstein, Diddy allegedly maintained a list of his connections and even recorded videos of attendees at his infamous parties. As this evidence begins to emerge, it's causing fear among A-list celebrities like Ashton Kutcher, Kevin Hart, and Jay-Z, who are worried about what Diddy's tapes might reveal about them.
Oh, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football.
Sources close to Diddy have confirmed that he used to record everything happening at his parties, allegedly using these tapes to blackmail people. Reports claim that Diddy had over 250 hidden cameras installed throughout his house, all running continuously to capture every detail. This shocking allegation has been supported by both the U.S. attorney and Diddy's own head of security, Jen Deal, adding credibility to the claims against him.
Planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
Dude, with Homeland Security, check please.
The possibility of the raid on Diddy's house being a cover-up to protect bigger names has gained traction, with former law enforcement officers and lawyers supporting this theory. It's important to note that Diddy had ties with global leaders and even U.S. presidents, with well-documented friendships with both Barack Obama and Donald Trump. This raises the alarming possibility that incriminating tapes involving high-profile celebrities might have been stolen under the pretense of a legitimate raid.
How do you feel about the situation that Diddy in?
Let's say this. Something else is going on. They didn't raid, they searched with a warrant his premises on the West Coast, right? They searched his premises on the East Coast in Florida, right? On the same property that the premises was located that they searched in Florida, he had a second mansion. They didn't touch that one. Why not? And when they walk out of there, they got a small trash bag and they have a medium-sized cardboard box. What was it they seized that would fit into those items? I have a sneaking suspicion from my background in criminal defense that what they seized was some evidence that was very incriminating to other people. Now, after they seized the evidence, they had no probable cause to arrest him on any crime. He hasn't been indicted. They talked to him at an airport before he got on a private jet to fly to an island that has no extradition agreement with the United States. Have you heard anybody trying to prosecute him?
Not at all.
So what did they do? See, the feds are interesting. Who served the search warrant?
Homeland Security.
Now, what the hell do they have to do with that? That's a FBI mandate.
The idea that Diddy recorded videos to blackmail politicians and celebrities in powerful positions isn't as far-fetched as it might initially seem. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has repeatedly confirmed that Diddy had a habit of collecting damaging information on the people he worked with, using it as leverage when necessary. This revelation aligns with the current allegations and raises an important question: how did Diddy manage to avoid arrest for so long, even while openly admitting to criminal activities?
Anybody came out defending Diddy. All these celebrity friends he have, and nobody came out.
They brand. It's all about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know that nobody in America liked that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's some about the music, clothing, movies. They're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards.
Gene Deal emphasized that many are now anxiously praying they aren't caught on Diddy's tapes doing something incriminating or crazy. He pointed out the potential scenario where federal authorities might confront individuals with footage of them, possibly involving situations with young girls, and leverage it to compel them to testify against Diddy, also known as Brother Love, Puff Daddy, or Sean Combs, until that moment comes. Many in Diddy's circle are living in fear of what might be exposed.
They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey, buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, because if he had 250 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. But they didn't think they was being watched, and Brother Love was watching.
Shockingly, some Hollywood celebrities are now claiming that the abuse and blackmail Diddy is accused of are only a fraction of what goes on in the entertainment industry. Comedian Donald Rawlings suggested that figures like Diddy and Epstein are just the ones who happen to get exposed. He alleged that, in reality, almost every major celebrity in Hollywood and the music industry has had to endure some form of abuse to reach the top.
Time that DHS, or Department of Homeland Security, made entry into this mansion and onto this property, and you saw the juxtaposition of these heavily armed vehicles and those very expensive luxury cars that are parked right on that driveway right there. So clearly a very different sight than we're used to seeing. But there you see some of the people that were inside that mansion at the time of the raid. They are being talked to by investigators.
It's very suspicious about that. You don't get invited to those parties.
Harvey Weinstein is another major figure who was exposed for abusing celebrities, yet as usual, little has changed in the industry. The exploitative casting couch culture remains rampant in Hollywood, with those in power continually seeking to recruit more individuals to manipulate and abuse. Shockingly, even high-profile figures aren't safe, as seen in allegations about what Diddy reportedly tried to do with Mike Tyson. Following Diddy's arrest, Jay-Z's name has frequently been mentioned in connection with the alleged crimes. However, Jay-Z has remained noticeably silent on the matter. Why? Allegedly, he is trying to avoid drawing attention to himself, knowing there's a strong possibility that any interference could lead to his own arrest. For now, it seems Jay-Z is focused on staying out of the spotlight as the drama unfolds.
Hey, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. Yeah. You understand? Right. And we here together, and we're going to keep staying together. We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else to us. Black excellence.
There's only one person. Go on. And I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean. Okay. Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean. He's the only person who's Sean approved. There's not a single person that outside of family. That should be outside of my mother. Okay.
Jay-Z and Diddy go way back, and there are multiple alleged victims who claim that Jay-Z abused them with Diddy's help. One of these victims is Jay-Z's former backup dancer, Jaguar Wright, who has accused him of raping her and even recording the act. In a recent episode of Uncensored with Piers Morgan, Wright spoke about the ongoing allegations surrounding Diddy's arrest, claiming that Jay-Z and Beyoncé were involved in disturbing actions, such as putting people on planes after rendering them unconscious. She also made a pointed remark regarding the long-standing rumors that Jay-Z and Beyoncé may have been involved in the death of Aaliyah.
There's no vindication for me because for 4 years I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must.
Jaguar Wright claims that Jay-Z has a habit of starting small controversies, then manipulating everyone involved to handle the fallout while he quietly avoids any direct response. She argues that it's time for Jay-Z to respond to the mounting allegations, as he can no longer avoid the situation. Wright links Jay-Z to notorious figures like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, and others, suggesting they all share a common connection, both professionally and privately. Sean Carter. She describes this as a fist of tyranny that has been impacting culture and society for decades and insists that it must come to an end. Wright also alludes to the deep misogyny in the rap world, hinting that it is rooted in a larger pattern of abuse that extends beyond the music itself.
Stop!
There's been obviously a lot of
cruelty-free artistry.
Right, there's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music, and that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to reap it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous, and everyone knows Diddy was selected for.
Jaguar Wright claims that she's not the only victim of Jay-Z's abuse, asserting that thousands of individuals in the music industry have suffered at his hands. Interestingly, Jay-Z had remained silent following Diddy's arrest, but as soon as Wright began speaking out about him, he quickly filed a lawsuit to silence her. This raises the question, why would Jay-Z take such drastic action if these were merely random accusations? It suggests that there might be more truth to the allegations than Jay-Z is willing to admit.
Could be.
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Pierce.
Listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Jaguar Wright also claims that Jay-Z and Beyoncé are not only involved in abuse themselves but have allegedly done similar things to others. She describes them as a nasty little couple who engage in troubling behavior, suggesting that they've kept people against their will and put them on planes while unconscious, drawing a disturbing parallel to the death of Aaliyah. Wright hints that there are many things people are too afraid to discuss. She also mentions Kim Porter's death, suggesting that Diddy might have been involved in her early passing, urging people to look into it further.
They're not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest with you.
You're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter,
Yes.
a new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that?
I think people should really look into that more. I am friends with Albie Shore. I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at the Kit Kat Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. I watched that whole thing happen. And everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities, it all leads back to Diddy. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting AirTag on children during visits. These are practices that these people do.
Jaguar, I've got to leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for caring.
Jay-Z and Beyoncé have long been rumored to have significant control over the entertainment industry, but it's rare for them to take direct action against someone, as they did with Jaguar Wright. Interestingly, almost everything Wright has said in the past has been proven true. This raises the question, will her latest accusations be proven accurate as well? Only time will tell if the claims surrounding Jay-Z and Beyoncé are as credible as those from the past.
Court fees and litigations because Jay-Z wants me broken, stopped, or under his control. And it ain't gonna happen, Sean. I'm never gonna be under your control. Never. You need to learn how to control your wife and her friends and their mouths. Because you got Beyonce in the Beehive looking real fucking dumb right now. 5 million unfollowed, and that number's gonna go up with every image in one of those freak-off tapes. And God help, if anybody here, how that bitch really talks about.
In a video, Jaguar Wright claims that Beyoncé and her supporters, particularly the Beehive, are looking really dumb right now, referencing a significant drop in followers, minus 5 million unfollowed, with the number expected to keep rising. She hints that the release of certain freak-off tapes, which might reveal disturbing details about Beyoncé, could lead to even more followers abandoning her. Wright suggests that if the truth about how Beyoncé talks about people comes out, many more followers will continue to leave by the tens of thousands.
About people with her, they'll start unfollowing by the tens of hundreds. Again, and they should. Because the truth is, the only reason they were following was because of the witchcraft and the spells that were being pushed out through the media. Y'all ain't fans because y'all really love them and y'all really think they're the best. You're fans because you fell for the hype. And they are hypes. I know I can sing. I've been able to do that my whole life. And they've been trying to stop me my whole career. Because see, unlike Beyonce, I'm not willing to hurt people to get famous. See, that's the part of the story that they're not telling y'all.
Unfortunately, the allegations against Diddy don't end here, and the situation only seems to be getting worse. Over 100 new lawsuits have just been filed against him, with most of them related to minors. These lawsuits were brought forward by Houston-based personal injury lawyer Tony Busby, who claims that some of the alleged victims were as young as 9 years old when they were abused. The growing number of accusations paints a disturbing picture of the extent of Diddy's alleged actions.